Welcome back to Kin in Line. This is part 4, and we're in, I would say, towards the end of my third year at the East London Tech Art School. So this is 1977. And certainly in this book, as I showed in the previous one, I made a huge breakthrough in terms of being able to draw. So there's control here, but at the same time, there's a sense that I'm, using line in a freer way. And where I use it, it's starting to define form quite nicely. I like the hand there particularly. In this case, which is amazing because this is on the same page, and here I've used these angular, like wooden block type shading, but then I've also used that on the head, and then I've done a sort of variation of it there, cubist sort of interpretation of the human form. But to have gone from that sort of clumsy shading on the same page to that, which is almost good shading, is amazing. I mean, it just shows you're never there, you're never quite there until you're fully confident. So here again, it's definite progress on my previous efforts. Hand quite nicely seen there. And, the foot moves, so you kind of adjust, and so it ends up a bit of a mess down there, but so what? Starting to get the shading here. It's just not fully there, but redrawn that rump. But another sort of, like a hand quite nicely seen. All part of the process. This was again a blessing. I mean, Mr. Lugg posed this woman, and I mean, look, I've used minimal shading here, but actually it works quite well. And there's great foreshortening here too. And this one is a real breakthrough, I think. I like the fact that I've redrawn several times to get, as she moved or whatever happened, despite the drawing behind it showing through, that doesn't really worry me. I'm very chuffed with that drawing. Yeah, look at this head adjusting, the arm moving, and it all just adds to the drawing. And then the torso is definitely being properly modeled, or pretty close to a good drawing. It's not quite there, look at these, there's just a couple of loose lines that don't tell you much. But again, certainly giving the form is starting to take shape here. I mean, I like those lines used to shape the arm as she leans on this bamboo. They're a little bit too square and flat. Again, so this would have been a very quick pose. And look at the redrawing here. I think it's you're trying to work out where the light's falling, and actually we were in a quite a tricky studio because it had just fluorescent tubes. So you didn't have one source of light. So shading was possibly made more difficult because of that. Anyway, no excuses. I mean, there was still light coming in the windows, which would have been the main source, I think. But yeah, this was certainly a good session. I mean, that redrawing of that face doesn't really disturb me. It makes it a drawing. Yeah, check out this. So there, a quick pose, and that is, I think, exactly what Lug wanted one to do. Get the figure down, you know, maybe a little bit inexact in places, but here where the action is, there's a good attention to the detail. Eesh. So just before I get on to those next drawings, this one has sticky tape marks on it, so I think this was used in an exhibition. So clearly Mr. Lugg saw merit in it, because I think he would have gone through our notebooks and, our sketchbooks and chosen worthwhile drawings for an exhibition. I've got others elsewhere that I'll show, but this one might have also been exhibited, where he got the model to literally just walk on the spot for about 5 minutes or 3 minutes or something. And then we just had to kind of quickly capture the movement. And you'll see my future drawings. This features a lot because I never did poses. I don't draw people posing. So here's a few little bits and bobs. This was, I think he crops up quite often from the PFP. What was his name? Zach de Beer. I think he was prominent. There's my chess. There's a bit of a crucifixion. That's probably Zach in his youth. Invisible dog. As I mentioned in a previous one, we did quite a lot of perspective. All perspective drawings. And Frederick van Zyl-Slabbert, who became the leader of the PFP in the late 70s, replacing Colin Eglin. But I quite like these drawings at the base here, which are kind of more cartoonish. The line is far superior to this overworked, really laboured. They're all drawn from photographs, obviously. So that's Eglin again, really overworked. But here the cartoon-like drawings are what interest me from the line quality point of view. So our family, the children, were all members of the PFP youth in East London. So I think I'll leave it. Sorry, look, there's just a couple of drawings here of girls from that we hung out with. Let's just show it over here. Hard to find a spot. Yeah, so they won't be too flattered, but at least I was now drawing just while sitting in a room, whatever. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. Cheers.